spirits bright.
You're silly.
What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh,
Merry Christmas season, everybody. Yes, it is Christmas season here at Thinking Out Loud. We're going to have some Christmas-themed conversations today. Though it is Christmas, we're going to talk about tradition and the thought that tradition kills. Specifically, tradition can kill churches. I am joined in studio today with none other than our firstborn, Olivia. Olivia, how old are you?
7.
7 years old. Thanks for joining me today, Olivia. We're going to start our conversation today by talking about some favorite family traditions. But first, let's introduce ourselves. This is Thinking Out Loud with PJ, a podcast that really explores the mind of a pastor. And in doing so, my goal is to call you to Paul's call, really, that says, consider your calling. Paul says, look around you. Not many wise, not many strong, not many famous people are called. People, you're not going to find somebody necessarily more qualified than you or I. So my goal is, as we consider that calling, then to help you take the next step in your spiritual growth and the next step in your Christian service, because it's you and I that God has called to do his work. Today, our conversation is really going to revolve around some things that really might get in the way of us taking those next steps in our spiritual growth. But before we do that, let's enjoy some Christmas time together, Olivia. So let's talk about some of our Christmas traditions in our house. When does Christmas usually start for us?
Right after we see the lights at Grammy and Grandpa's house.
The lights at Grammy and Grandpa's house. So should we explain, are those lights actually at Grammy and Grandpa's house?
No, they're at a light park.
At a park, yeah, at Fifth Third Ballpark. So if you're not from around here, we have a minor league baseball team in Grand Rapids, and every Christmas somebody they decorate it, and you can pay and you can drive through it and see all the lights. So it has become a tradition. One of the first traditions that starts off our Christmas season is we go with Grammy and Grandpa, we pile in their van, and we go and we drive through the lights, don't we? And you guys look forward to that every single year. All right, then what? What are some of your favorite things? What's next, usually?
And then we wait a while, and then we usually will go on a date.
Who will go on a date?
Me and Daddy.
Oh, us? We got to go on a date? How long ago did we start that? You were little, weren't you? 2 or 3 years old, and we started doing that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So this year is Amaya's first year to go on a date, which actually we're going to go tonight, aren't we, Daddy and Amaya?
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do on our dates, our Christmas dates?
Well, it kind of changed since Corona, but we would usually we would eat first or go shopping first, and then we'll either see a movie, go see lights, or something like that.
Where do we eat?
Wherever we pick.
Yeah, wherever you pick, right? Yeah. So we let you get to pick where we eat. Oh, we forgot the part. You always pick out all our clothes too, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You pick out our clothes, and we get all dressed up. Oh, my. So lots of fun, right? So what are we wearing this year?
We are wearing the Christmas theme.
Okay.
So it's either like stripes and then a green, a red.
Okay.
Or it's either green or red. So one person wears red, one person wears
What did
green.
we wear last year? What did you pick out for us last year?
Michigan.
Michigan colors, go blue, even though they're not doing so good this year. All right, so let's see. We start our Christmas season kind of Thanksgiving night when we go see the lights. And then Daddy takes each of you guys out on a Christmas date. We get all dressed up. We have lots of fun. We go eat. Usually, we've gone to Meyer Gardens, but that's not going to be very easy this year. So we'll probably just go see lights. Last year, we just went and found some nice lights to look at, and we'll probably do that again this year. And then what do? We go shopping. I take you guys to go shopping. So you're going to buy a gift for who?
Mommy, Benson, Amaya.
Mommy, Benson, and Amaya. Yep.
But it goes backwards.
Backwards this year. What do you mean by that?
Amaya, Benson, me.
Yeah, so I'm going to take Amaya tonight. Then, Lord willing, next week we'll take Benny Boy. And then maybe we'll be done for the year. No? We got to get you in? All right. So then after that, what are some of the favorite things that we do? What do we do on Christmas Eve?
We we kind of do what we do at our house on Christmas Day, but we don't exactly eat junk food all day.
Junk food. Wait. First of all, where are we on Christmas Eve? Grammy and Grandpa's. Yeah, and do we don't eat much junk food there, right? No, but at home, what do you mean we eat junk food at home?
Well, after breakfast, there's freedom of candy.
Oh yeah, we kind of get spoiled on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day at our house. We eat probably a pretty good breakfast and a pretty good dinner, and then the rest of the food all day is what?
Junk food.
Junk food, yeah, just junk food. We like to just sit around and enjoy junk food. Traditions, right? Traditions make Christmas fun. Traditions make holidays fun. Traditions make memories. Traditions can be good. We all enjoy traditions, especially around the holiday time, don't we? So Olivia, one of the reasons I wanted Olivia to come and be a part of this conversation is she is the one who loves tradition in our family. If we do something once and she likes it, she's going to make sure that we do it that way all the time. She loves tradition. And there's many of us that are that way. We love tradition. They create memories for our families. When we talk about churches, tradition actually, you can't be a part of a church and not have some sort of tradition. Even churches that try hard to push off tradition, every church relies on tradition in some ways. What are some traditions in church that you like?
Well, every year after Thanksgiving, we wait a while to, decorate the church with trees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do that, don't we? We decorate the church with trees. This year, we are sharing with our church and with you guys. We're sharing one of our family traditions, aren't we? What are we sharing with them that's one of our family traditions that we didn't talk about?
Christmas Day.
No, we're sharing what that Daddy did videos on?
Lights.
The manger, right? Our Advent that we've started doing, that's one of our traditions too. Yeah, and at Christmas, a lot of times, what do? Part of tradition is having a Christmas program, decorating trees and setting up and doing all of those things. We love tradition in our churches. And the great thing about tradition is tradition helps us feel safe and comfortable. Tradition in our families, as things have been kind of uprooted through the things that have been going on, it can help us feel more normal. It can help us feel a little safer. So tradition is great. It really can be good. The problem is as tradition makes us feel comfortable, when we push back against tradition, it makes us feel very uncomfortable. And that's really where we want to start this conversation when it comes to tradition in churches. So I'm going to talk about some things. Really what I want to do right now is I want to push some buttons. I'm going to push some buttons with you, and you tell me how that makes you feel. Think about it. Think, okay, how does this make me feel? And then we're going to start to understand how tradition, pushing against comfortable traditions, makes us feel very uncomfortable. So what if your church decided to drop or change certain services? So in our church, we're very traditional. We still have Sunday school on Sunday morning. We have a Wednesday evening service that we have prayer meeting, Bible study, Awana youth group. We have all those things. Olivia, how do you like Awana?
I like it.
How is Awana on Zoom?
It protected us, but, I still got to see my friends, but I liked it.
You liked it, yeah, and it protected us. It just wasn't as fun as being here, is it? No, it's not the same. But it's good we can have Zoom, right? And Daddy appreciates your leaders that are working hard to make sure that they keep doing those things for you. So there's these things that we enjoy in our church, but they're really traditions. So let me ask you, what if your church started taking away those things? What if we as a church took away Sunday school? Or what if we took away the Sunday evening service? What if we took away the Wednesday service or even the Sunday morning service? And when I talk about the Sunday morning service, you might get really uncomfortable. But I know of at least one church right now that has been forced to take their Sunday morning service to the evenings. And that's the service that they have. They have an evening service, not a morning service. When I talk about these things, these really are our tradition. We, as the American church, kind of laid out this schedule, right? So what are they good for? Why do we do what we do? How do you feel about other things in church? How do you feel about, and maybe this one isn't as big of a deal now, but what about pews in a church? And some of you might think, well, Pastor, that's no big deal. But there's people who, when we talk about, if you were to talk about, hey, let's take pews out of the church and put chairs in, there's people who might feel uncomfortable with that. All right, why? Think about why you feel that way. What about the things you wear to church? And again, I think this is one that, depending on the church you're in, it's less of an issue. But why? Why do we do those things? Right? If you have strong feelings about me bringing these up, if you have a strong feeling about me saying, what if we took away, or what if we changed the 6 o'clock service in our church on Sunday nights? What if we changed that? What if we took that away or moved that? If you have strong feelings about that, that's because of tradition. It's simply because of tradition. And any of those things, it's tradition. So here's what I really want to get us to start thinking and understanding, that tradition can kill a church. Tradition can be really good, but tradition can kill a church. Just as we enjoy traditions as a family, there's times in our family that we're going to have to give those things up. I really look forward to our every year going out and getting dressed up, and we get to go on our Christmas date. That's one of Daddy's favorite things all year, is going with these guys on their Christmas dates, taking them Christmas shopping. But when you guys get older, we might not be able to do that, right? We might have to change our traditions and change the things that we do. And it's the same in church. There comes a time where we have to rethink and say, are these things being effective? So I always will challenge my people to ask why. Why do we do the things that we do? But before I get ahead of myself here, I want to take you to Acts 2:42 and challenge your thinking about church with this. In Acts 2:42, it says, and they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and prayer. So in this passage, we see what I would call the non-negotiables of church. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching. They devoted themselves to Scripture. They devoted themselves to fellowship, and they devoted themselves to breaking bread. And prayer. They devoted themselves to the activities of gathering together. The how and the when is not as specific. In fact, if we read farther in this passage, we found that they did these things on a daily basis, and in the American church, we sure don't do that. So if we want to challenge and think about what's important in church, these are the things that are important in church. All the other things should just be tools that help us get there. They should be tools that help us do the things that we need to do as a church. So we need to ask why. Why is it that we're doing what we're doing? We often do things because we've always done it, not because it continues to be effective. Here we are at Christmas time, right? And one of the things most churches do is they do a Christmas program. They do these big Christmas programs. And there's times, depending on your church, where that can just start to be a real weight on you. And it really becomes something that the people involved with kind of dread, because it's so much work and it's the same people doing it over and over again. Well, why do we keep doing it then? Why do we have to have a Christmas program? Why do we have to do the things we do? I know of a church planner who has said that really the only consistent thing in their church is the Sunday morning service. Everything else kind of has a shelf life in a sense. So it might work for a year, 2 years, a few months, whatever it is. And as soon as it becomes something that's not fulfilling its purpose anymore, or maybe there's a better way to fulfill that purpose, that goes away. And tradition is what pushes against us when we try to do that. Tradition is what really makes us struggle. And I want to share yet one more passage with you. Ephesians chapter 5, 15 and 16. Paul says, look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of time because the days are evil. Making the best use of time. And we apply that to our personal lives, but we cannot forget that applies to our church, right? We have a certain amount of time that we have all you guys together and we're gathered as a church. We need to make the best use of that time. So we can't just go on tradition. We have to be constantly evaluating. Let me ask you this. Why is it that when we come to church, in most churches, we come in, we sit down, we sing, we take the offering, and we have kind of an order that we do everything? Is that not tradition? Because Scripture tells us that in order for us to sing and worship God in that way, we should have been in the Word. So would it not make more sense for us to preach first and have our heart right, rather than what we often say is, well, I need the music to get my heart right, to get my heart prepared for the service. But really, the music is the outflow of our worship. Think about that. Sometimes in our church, we will do a backwards sermon. I'll do a couple quick announcements or something like that, and then I'll just start preaching. And then from there, we have our song service out of the outflow of our heart as we have seen God through Scripture in the message. Now we sing, and we're worshiping out of a full heart. Tradition, guys, it all depends on, you just ask yourself why. Everything that we do, because we hang on to these traditions that are no longer working, that are no longer effective, because we've always done them that way. And it ends up killing churches because they cannot give up tradition. Guys, all that really matters in a church is what's biblical, what you can find in Scripture. If you can't find in Scripture why you're doing something, then it can go away. It doesn't have to go away. It can be good. It can be good, but it doesn't have to go away, especially in these times. In these times when churches change and pivot, can I encourage you, don't hold on to tradition too tightly. Don't hold on to tradition too tightly. We're having to do that in our families, aren't we? Even as I take my kids out on these dates, the tradition is I allow them to pick where they eat. We go and we sit down and we eat and we enjoy a meal, and then I'll take them somewhere nice. Around here, we especially enjoy Meyer Garden. We're not going to do that this year. We're not going to be able to sit in a restaurant and eat. We're going to have to sit in the car and eat. Tradition can change. It's okay if tradition changes. Don't let tradition kill the church. We love tradition in our family. We love tradition in church, but don't let tradition kill the church. I hope this was an encouragement to you. I hope it really started you thinking as you guys enjoy your traditions as your family. Think about the church. Think about the traditions in church and how you may push back against those things and shouldn't push back against those changes. Hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for coming in, Olivia. You give me 5? Yeah, good job. All right. We are going to enjoy some of our traditions. You enjoy some of your traditions. If you enjoyed this video, please, as always, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Tell me some of your Christmas traditions. Drop them down in the comments. Some of your Christmas traditions that you enjoy as a family. That would be great. Share this video with some others. That'll help this channel as well. Thanks again for joining. We'll talk to you later.